Welcome back. Today we're looking at Megalophobia, also known as the fear of big things. Looking at this usually produces an interesting array of images and videos of things that we just didn't know existed or didn't understand to that capacity. We're gonna see some goofy stuff today. This very first one here is what a nuclear explosion in virtual reality looks like. Does that sound like fun? You wanna go die from a nuclear explosion in VR really quick with me? Let's do it. Now, even if you don't have this phobia, which is surprisingly a common phobia that people have, but even if you don't have it, a lot of these, you'll understand why this phobia exists. Some of these really make you feel small and fragile and insignificant in the worst way. But you know what? You're not insignificant. You are important to me. And hopefully some other people in your life. But if not, you're at least important to me, and not just because of the ad revenue on your views. Anyway, let's get scared. What a nuclear explosion in virtual reality looks like. Holy smokes. That's not so bad. Okay, everything around us slowly being vaporized. Us being vaporized. Oh my gosh, dude. By the way, we would have been dead a long time ago. Yeah, that would be a pretty bad time being vaporized by an atomic bomb. Call me crazy. You don't need to have a fear of big things to not want to get vaporized by a giant explosion. So let's move on to something a little more relatable, shall we? Okay, I know I just said relatable. This is not going to be relatable at all. But this is a big building in England that, because of the way it's designed, because of the way that it is going to be my explanation for this one. Because of the way that it is, when it's windy in the right way, or maybe whenever it's windy, it makes this noise. As if it wasn't ominous enough to have a giant glass brick just blocking the skyline in an otherwise pretty low to the ground neighborhood. Why has it got to make that sound, man? And why is it the only one that does that? I haven't heard of this in other giant buildings. We got a lot of big buildings in the world. I don't know how much you guys get around, but there's a lot of big buildings that even look like this one. But this one makes a haunting humming sound when it gets windy. Hello? And this is England. It's always windy. So just in case you're thinking, oh, it's probably just worse in the video, I saw many first-hand accounts of people that live near this that said it's just as bad as you think in person, if not worse than it sounds in the video. So this is actually what it's like. I don't know how you get away with that. Can you I almost said sue. Sorry. American moment. Can you complain to the king about this or something and be like, hey, the humming, it's not nice. I don't know what you do. I mean, how do you fix that? I don't know what causes it, so I can't even guess. Maybe the only way to make it stop doing that is to start over, you know? I don't think it's that easy of a fix. But maybe they just need some of these sound panels. Just cover it with these things. That's gotta do it, right? That's gotta do something. What a haunting sound. Straight up end of the world sound right there. Imagine you visit this area and you're there for a couple days without any wind somehow, and this happens on day 4, and you're just what is happening, dude? Is the spire activating? Is it summoning aliens from beyond? It's the Beetham Tower in England? Nightmare. I don't know what this is, and the people in the comments also didn't know what this is. It's either just them doing a little experiment to show smoke being smoke, or it could be a process that's very dangerous and not ideal to make ink or something. But I can't help but look at this and think, if this thing exploded or popped, it's just a bunch of hot melted plastic just splattering down on you. That's not gonna be good. It's hard to find a proper explanation, but probably something bad. These gender reveal parties are getting out of hand, man. The Sphere in Vegas. I can actually vouch for this one because I've seen this with my own 2 eyes. And I will say the pictures make it look bigger than it is, but it is big. Like, this picture makes it look like it's just this looming giant ball, which it is, but you can also tell by looking at this that they like adjusted the focal length or whatever you call it to kind of like make it seem, you know? I'm not a camera guy, I can't really say, but it's not this intrusive. It is intrusive, but it doesn't like, it's not like this. I don't know, it's hard to describe. But like when I was there and you're amidst the rest of the chaos of Vegas, it just kind of makes sense in a weird sort of way. But don't get me wrong, it is very big. And sometimes they make it look like a giant eyeball, and I hate when that happens. It also will show ads, which is awesome. Just blasted through your blinds, right into your home. This mall in China. Oh my gosh, dude. Wowie zowie. It's not really megalophobia as much as it is claustrophobia, I feel like, you know? It's just jam-packed with people. Look at this right here. I mean, it's also like not that bad. I don't know. I won't say I've been to malls like this, but I've been to malls that were like not that far off of this. You could have a panic attack in here pretty easily. Definitely a nice spot for that. Maybe you're on like the 7th floor here and you're like, I want to go home. And then you realize it's going to be like an hour just to get to your car or the train or whatever. Not ideal. I'll give you that much. View of the Grand Canyon from a helicopter. Buckle up, guys. This is going to be crazy. I'm like nervous. Oh man. Oh man. Wow. This video is actually full screen for me too, so I'm actually able to kind of like feel like I'm there a little bit. Dang, that canyon is grand. I've never actually been, but this is grand. I dare say this might be a Grand Canyon. Wow, wow. Yeah, I don't know what else to say about that. This is huge. This reveal here when we go over the cliff was kind of like, it almost gave me like butterflies. Whew. Yikes, man. Wow. Maybe I'll go someday. The problem with the Grand Canyon, and not to sound like TikTok brain kid or anything, but like, it seems like it might be kind of boring after like 30 minutes, you know? Because I can't fly over it with a helicopter. I have to park my car at a little viewing point and then just look out at it. And like, I love a good nature spot, man. I look at it for a little while and I kind of take it in and I'm like, okay, I'm good now, you know? That's why I haven't been yet. Maybe I'll go when the day comes that I can fly in a helicopter over it. If any of you guys fly helicopters, let me know. But anyway, that's pretty crazy. That's really big. Let's move on. Oh man, this dude, this video, every time I see it, it pops up a lot. This is just... It's not good, man. There's something about this that like just, I don't know, it almost like pisses me off a little bit. I mean, it's just him in a little solo boat. So you know what, risk your own life as long as there's no one else being dragged along. But like, it's not funny or cute or silly. It's just like, bro, this is extremely dangerous. And for what? But man, that's so scary, dude. It's not just playing with your life, it's playing with like dying in one of the worst ways I can think of. You get sucked under a giant ship, bashed around, and then you end up probably going straight into the propellers while you're drowning. Anyway, let's move on. That one makes me sick, not gonna lie. I've seen it a bunch because of the fear of water videos we do, and every time I see it, I just wanna grab this guy like this and just be like, do a different type of content. The biggest iceberg in the world, A23A. Very cool name for a giant iceberg. Ah, man. Another water-related one? See, this is all fine and dandy. It's this blue under the water that stresses me out. Just picturing how much bigger it is underwater. That's the real megalophobia for me. And then throw a little ocean depth to that, you know? Just a ton of iceberg under the water and then just like the deep blue below that. That's terrifying. Also, if there's any flat earthers watching, this is not the ice wall. See, it ends right there. The ocean goes around it. This is just a wall of ice. Anyway, yeah, terrifying, dude. Really cool, but terrifying. And also to be able to get this close to it. Like when I was on a boat up in Alaska, world traveler over here, and we saw the glaciers. We got to see them. They were not this big, but we were also not nearly this close. And even that was like, whoa, that's huge. And so just being able to picture like being this close and then being way bigger, scary. This giant statue in Bali, we've seen it a couple times, and every time I see it, it just looks, I hate saying this, but it looks AI generated. You know, it just looks like it can't be real. And again, we're just kind of like doing our best to understand how big this is. Like we can't really tell, but this building is giant. And then this statue is just like gargantuan. You know what I mean? Like, dude, I want like a person up here for scale. Like how big would a guy be? Like right there on the corner. Like, is this helmet here made of gold? Because if so, it's probably worth $1 zillion. Which is why it's probably not made of gold. But you know, like that's just how big this is. This thing is huge. And intricate too. Like even if you make it in small little sections, like it's still impressive. Like it looks like it's been put together like a Lego piece, like the ultimate Lego set, but even still, dude. Aerial view of Tokyo. I think we've seen the same photo, maybe in our last Megalophobia video, so I won't linger too much here. But Tokyo's huge. We know this. Mount Fuji, also huge. We know this. I'm someone who likes cities, so if you don't like cities, this is probably the worst one to go to. Like if this stresses you out to think of, but like when you're there, you genuinely won't feel like you're in this big of a city. But yeah, I mean, even me looking at this, I'm like, dude, that's actually kind of terrifying. It's like the mall, but like times 1,000, where it's like you're over here, and then you're like, I want to get out of the city. And it's like, okay, cool. You've got to go through 1,000 blocks of streets to get out of the city, if not more. Megalophobia in space? Oh, mama. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Oh, wow. Okay, definitely not a real video. Not even NASA has telescopes that can like zoom like that, but really cool illustration of how big things can look, but how far they actually are. Well, how big things are, but how they can look so small from being far. Like these look big at the beginning and you're like, oh my gosh, those are huge. And it's like, actually, they're little teeny tiny little dots next to this bigger guy. And then, dude. Wow. Wow, that's good, man. That's really good. I like when a video is able to kind of like communicate the size of space to you, like in an understandable way. Like it's so hard for us to comprehend the size of space. And even still, this is just like one of our own planets in our own system. But if you can think about, wow, that feels insanely far. And then you can like times that by a trillion, and you're like, okay, now I still don't understand how big space is, but I feel scared. Crazy. The world's tallest bridge over the China's Huazhong Canyon is being completed. You see, they say bridge twice because it's double the bridge, man. It really is. Check this out. Wow. Dude, not only is it huge, but like it really is a fear of heights thing too. This is like miles in the air, is it not? How tall is this thing? Look at this, dude. This is like building a bridge over the Grand Canyon. Like no helicopter needed, just drive over it. It's 625 meters or 2,000 feet high. It's also very long. That's crazy. We've seen some big bridges in these videos before, and I think all of them have been in China, or at least most of them. This is just absurd, you know? But imagine how long it would take you to drive on like a normal road from over here to over here. Like you'd have to zigzag down the mountain and kind of zigzag around it. You'd have to do this little switchback thing, going back and forth all the way down. And like, it just is not really possible. It's not viable. It'd be like a multiple hour journey to just get from here to here if they spent the time making those roads in the first place. And now you just like, what, you go 70 miles per hour or just all the way across, get over here in like 2 minutes? That's crazy. I just can't believe that we're able to make bridges like this that don't just collapse, because it just seems like so much weight to suspend like that. But physics, you know, we figured it out. Or you know, they did, not me. I didn't help with that. Oh boy, one of these videos. We know this page very well. Why? Hey pal, time to swim a little. Are you even trying to swim? Oh my gosh, dude, this is so stressful. Wow. Even that duck is kind of big, huh? Yikes. I hate how they always do these downward shots. It ends right there. It felt like this thing was not that far away, but I guess it's just that big, huh? Extremely stressful video for a lot of different reasons. Did not love that. Giant face coming towards you, about to just squish you into jelly, or cause you to drown. Both of which are pretty bad options. But yeah, I don't know, that one felt personal. I felt like I was living that for a second there. Hands are sweaty after that. I mean, I don't like the water stuff. That's like my thing. Giant face coming towards me in the water. And this little pan down right here. Hated that, man. Didn't love that. But hey, it ends happy with them getting out in this little tunnel and going home. And just telling their wife about it, you know? Craziest thing happened today. There I was in an interdimensional purgatory, being chased by a giant statue of an old guy, and that's why I'm late for dinner. Here we go, the Boeing 777 next to some 737s. Yikes, because these are big. This is really big. Just groundbreaking YouTuber commentary. This is big. However, this is really big. But no, truthfully, like obviously we know that these planes are huge. Like these things are just massive. Seeing this in its grand scale, like this is one of those planes that has like multiple stories to it. Like you can go up the stairs to get to your seat. I mean, maybe there's an elevator in it for all we know. There might as well be. You could fit like 1 billion people on here. Not actually, but probably close. There's probably like 9 pilots up there, 5,000 buttons. Can you imagine being a flight attendant on this thing? I mean, when you're on this plane too, obviously you're going like over the ocean or like on a very long flight. So you're basically just like living in here for like a half a day or so, you know? The flight attendants are like working a 12-hour shift, you know? Maybe they're going to sleep sometime on their break. Maybe there's a break room with like bunk beds. Like you could put anything in here. There could be like a 4-bedroom apartment in the back here where all the employees just like live. And something this big just feels like it shouldn't be able to fly. I know it's just the same thing as this pretty much, but just bigger. But it feels like we're just getting into some territory we shouldn't be getting into, you know? I don't know if we should be able to put 1,000 people up in the air in one machine. It seems like a lot, doesn't it? This is terrifying to look at, especially because I fly pretty often. And I don't know if I'll ever get used to it, you know? It just always makes me a little bit, just a little bit on edge. I've done it enough times, like I'm not gonna have a panic attack on the plane, but if I told you my hands aren't a little sweaty the entire flight, I would be lying to you, because I am always perfectly aware that I'm in a little metal tube way up in the sky, just being held up by 2 visibly flimsy wings, you know? They're not, but they look like they are. The Premere Plateau. Wow. I don't even know exactly what I'm looking at, just a big old mountainside. Just insanely big. Just colossal in scale. And just driving past it on this little tiny road like it's nothing. It's just so big. Like, I don't even know how to guess how big this is. Like, is this Grand Canyon level? And just kind of what it would look like to be in the Grand Canyon looking up? Because it could be, it could also not be. There's a certain size of things that once it reaches it, it's all just too big after a certain threshold, you know? But yeah, this looks crazy. I mean, this is the kind of thing that if there was a rock slide, like it's gonna be going Mach 4 by the time it hits the bottom. You know, this thing is gonna just destroy you. I don't know, this looks like very much built in. It's not like a rock just loosely sitting there, but imagine this starting to slide. Here's a different, like above image of this place. Just a full-on mountain range that I guess you can actually get to the bottom of. Like there's roads down below. So yeah, you really are just looking up at the sides of mountains as you drive by in your little stupid car, your little baby car, your little baby guy in a big world. You ever feel like that? You should. It's humbling. I don't know. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Every time you see the moon up there in the sky, that's a good reminder that you're just a tiny little person, because that thing's huge and it's just floating out there, and it's a reminder that space is out there Like, it's crazy that we can even see the moon and the sun out there, just like as a reminder that we're just on a rock in space. But like, we don't think anything of it. We're like, ah, the sun, better put my sunglasses on. Ah, the moon, better put my moon shoes on. We don't really fathom what it all is. But yeah, this mountain range, giant. This little road, tiny. Our time together looking at these videos, priceless. Thanks for being here. The Insano Water slide at Beach Park in Brazil is 14 stories tall and propels riders to speeds of up to 62 miles per hour. And we got a full screen video here, baby. I'm about to get immersed. About to go put my swim trunks on for this one. Just look at these baby slides over here, man. Oh. Is this the kiddie playground? We're on the real slide here. Let's do it. We're so high up, though. There's no way this is gonna feel good, you know? Oh, man. Wow. The sound he makes is the exact sound I would make, dude. Just involuntary. You, the whole time you're in line, all the rest of it, you're like, I'm tough, I'm not afraid of a little slide. But no matter what you do, you will make this sound once you start dropping 62 feet on a wet piece of plastic. Dude, it's actually crazy because it doesn't look that big once he starts going down, but look at this view. Just out. Looks like you're on top of a building just about to fall off. And then it doesn't look that bad once he starts going. To us, as the viewer. Just because it's over so quickly. But yeah, holy smokes, man. Isn't that something? We look at like the planets looking too big. We look at like giant mountains looking too big. We look at freaking huge statues, and then we're also like, dang, 14 stories tall, that's crazy too. Like after a certain point, it's all just too big. Just the fact that he goes 14 stories in like 3 seconds is proof of how fast he's going. That's crazy. That honestly feels more like fear of heights though than megalophobia, which honestly kind of a lot of these have. Amazon delivery blimps with drones. I hate this very much. This is a render. This is not a real thing. This is also not made by Amazon. This is just someone goofing around with their ideas, I think. But please never let this happen, you know? Imagine it makes the sound that that building makes too. It probably would. Oh boy, my package must be getting close. Must be out for delivery. Guys, open the window for the drones. Honestly, terrifying for like other reasons. Granted, it is huge, and that's the whole thing here, but like just a giant Amazon blimp flying around delivering packages with like its army of autonomous drones just going to people's homes, just like 24/7. An Imperial Superstar destroyer compared to New York City or Manhattan specifically. I mean, don't get me wrong, man, that's really, really big, but this is also like fictional. I'm sorry to sound like a hater here, but like, who cares? You know, this fictional thing that doesn't exist is huge. It's like, okay, so I could just make up something right now. I'm gonna make up a ship called the Planet Slicer, and it's actually bigger than this one. So picture something like this, but it looks more like a butterfly knife, and it's actually like twice that size. Isn't that crazy? Anyway, I'll stop being a jerk, but like, you know, cool. Just to imagine like how this would work, like a ship in space that's this big, you know? It's kind of like everything I said about the 777 airplane, but like times 100 or more. Times 100 or more? No, times like 10,000. No, times like 1,000,000, honestly. Like everyone that's on the ship obviously lives here too. This is an entire city that just flies through space. That's interesting. It's also just not real, you know? Three Gorges Dam in China is so big it actually slowed down the rotation of the Earth by 0.06 microseconds, which is not that much, but the fact is that it did. It slowed down the Earth's rotation, which is crazy. I can't explain to you how that happened. Probably something to do with all the water that was once over here being propelled this way, maybe? Maybe just like a little, it's just ever so slight. But the fact that it was enough to do that is just crazy. Yep, that's 2 things for China today, I think. Or was that 3? They make things big over there, man. Imagine it also being a water slide, though. Imagine sitting up here and then just going zoom. The world's largest flag. Wow. Why is it gotta be so big, you know? Like we get it. Honestly, it's really hard to understand how big this is. It's definitely scary amounts of big, but how big are we talking, you know? What's the measurements here? 36 meters by 72 meters, or 118 feet by 236 feet, and weighs over 1,000 pounds. That's crazy, dude. Just, I think the weight of it is more impressive than the size of it. Assuming that that's the weight of the flag itself, right? Not the pole. This bit of cloth, I mean, bit is doing a lot of heavy lifting there. This massive flag here is still made of like cloth or, you know, fabric or whatever. Then it weighs over 1,000 pounds? You've heard of a weighted blanket before. Imagine using this thing to cozy up at night, huh? This thing could actually crush you. Imagine getting crushed by what's essentially a blanket. What would that be like? I mean, that'd be terrible. Just the getting crushed part is the bad part. Blankets? I'm low-key a fan of blankets. But when they weigh 1,000 pounds and are bigger than my home, not so much. Also, dude, I just realized how windy it must be to keep a 1,000-pound flag blowing in the wind so majestically. Wow, it's kind of like mesmerizing, isn't it? Just knowing this thing is 1,000 pounds. Wow. I think it's a little overkill. Personally, I don't think you needed to make it this big. I think like if you're looking at this, you already know what country you're in, so you don't really need a 1,000-pound flag to remind you. But then again, it's kind of a flex to be able to have this and just be like, yeah, dude, how big is your flag? And lastly, this computer graphics rendition of some insane amusement park rides that would absolutely kill every rider, you know? Jeez. This is some Spy Kids stuff here, dude. Jeez, bro. There's no way. Oh my gosh. Holy smokes. Biblically accurate roller coaster right here. This would just kill you. Yeah, you would die, bro. There's no way. You would implode. The G-force will turn you into a pancake. And if it, like, snapped while you were, like, swinging upwards, you would just fly into space. Like, you would probably breach the atmosphere. Look how fast you're going. Jeez. Alright, fun one to end on. Absolute nonsense video. And this is like an older video. This was like from before the like AI video. This is like a 5+ year-old video. So someone actually like took the time to animate this. And you can kind of tell, obviously, it doesn't look that real, but jeez. Again, a little bit more fear of heights, fear of just imploding than actual megalophobia, but pretty cool anyway. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you had a good time with me, looking at big things, looking at scary things, looking at just like creepy things. There was just some stuff that wasn't even that big. It was just like unsettling, just in general. And that's fun. That's what we like to do here, you know? Become unsettled every Sunday with me. Okay, thank you for watching. Don't forget to like the video if you enjoyed it, and subscribe if you haven't yet and feel like it. And I'll see you next week with another silly video full of silly stuff that makes you feel scared. Okay, bye-bye. Hold on, baby.